Hi, this is Regeline Sabat, also known as Gigi. You're listening to Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Zoe. Zoe is an international energy healer, womb guide, and speaker of the mind, body, and soul. Welcome to the show, Zoe.
Hey, Gigi. Beautiful to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. It's an honor to have you here today. Now, why don't you start off by telling us more about you and where you are from?
So I'm currently living in Sydney, Australia. I've been here for about 22 years, originally from the UK, growing up in Wales, and a mum of two beautiful boys that have just come into their teenage years, a writer, a poet, and basically living my passions now from a journey of healing.
Absolutely amazing. Now, tell us more about your upcoming trilogy.
So the trilogy is a second edition of the original book that I wrote, which was called The Adventures of Pinky Fairway. It's a little bit of an interesting title, but basically Breaking Free is my journey and my memoir from breaking free. No more soul suffocation, from feeling very shut down with shame and different things that I experienced, like anxiety, depression, PTSD, but then my journey of how to break free. So it's a how to really shift from the darkness and the limitations into expressing your gifts. And then Wildflower, A Sacred Place, is specifically on the yoni, the most sensitive and vulnerable aspects for a woman and her sensuality. So it's sharing my own personal journey of learning to love my body, shifting through body dysmorphia, shame when it came to things like sex and intimacy, and then guiding women and men through that journey. And then Soul Codes is the final bit of the trilogy, which is about remembering your mission. So activating people to remember. Would say that I'm a star seed, so part of my role is to activate people into remembrance that they chose this journey coming back, and no matter your adversity, your gifts are within the adversity to then be able to then share with humanity. So it's giving people the how to and how to really activate their life force in their body so they can remember how to heal themselves from the inside out.
Absolutely amazing. Now, tell us more about the major challenge that you had to overcome in your life.
One of the major ones was shame, body shame, even shame for not fitting in. So, coming up to now 50, and I was always seen as different. And, even my mum says, "Where do you come from?" And now I sort of like explain to her where I come from, and she understands that. But yeah, it was mostly body shame. And from the body shame, one of my main fears that I experienced when I was younger was the fear of abandonment. And this took me down this path. The body dysmorphia took me down a path, which then snowballed and created, I say created because how I was feeling on the inside started attracting those experiences to come into my life. So I had sexual trauma, a lot of abusive relationship, a lot of codependency, which then shifted into anxiety, depression, and then I also experienced PTSD. So a lot of trauma, a lot of suffering, which I'm extremely grateful for. And part of my role is to show people how to shift beyond that. But I'd say it was, mostly the body shame, body dysmorphia, and especially being a woman.
And walk us through when you shifted your mindset from a negative mindset to a positive mindset.
It was more learning how to rewire my mind to shift from the over-analytical, critical self-critic, that doing that inner healing of learning how to meditate to then create some peace and some stillness in my mind. And what that started to do, I started to open up into creativity, even to, then being able to be in choice of my thoughts, even invite in emotions that are sometimes put in the box of good or bad or right or wrong or positive or negative. So part of that was having the courage to sit in emotions that people would classify as negative emotions, and giving them the same level of love and attention that people would for positive emotions. Because I do feel there's this surface level of positivity that people can get stuck in. So I wanted to go beyond that, and that's what the meditation did for me. So it gave me a life raft so I could really, really go deep into the darkness and into the shadow aspects that I was running from.
Absolutely inspiring. Now, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Making working on yourself number one priority. Number one priority is find out who you are. Everyone is different. We're not a cookie cutter approach. So some of the things, the paths that I went along are going to be different to others. I think it's really important when you're going on this journey to have the courage to walk your own path. So many times you can get stuck following others. Oh, I need to do this. Find what resonates with you, and you will have this feeling in you. You will feel drawn to something, or a book will fall off the shelf, or something will come into your awareness. They're the bits, they're the breadcrumbs that you follow often. And everyone is different. So everyone has a different path. Some people are more followers. I was very much an explorer, so I'm not meant to follow anyone else's path. I never was. I was never meant to. Not even read anyone else's story, which may sound a little bit shallow. And that was my path, you know. So everyone is different, and we're all playing different roles to remember who we are. So, yeah. Find out who you are and enjoy and celebrate you, each and every layer that you undress, and more and more your true essence starts to shine through without having to think about it. It simply comes through.
I love it. Celebrate you. Very powerful. Now, Zoe, where can the audience find you?
So they can find me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, my website. I've got all my social media links on there. You can shoot me a message. And yeah, that's probably the easiest way. And on YouTube, but I haven't really put anything up on there for a while.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out Zoe on all of her social media platforms, and also zoe-anna.com. Zoe, thank you for being a guest on Walk With Me podcast.
Thank you so much, Gigi. It was a pleasure.